What if I told you you could be eating all the right healthy foods, taking iron supplements, doing everything your doctor says, and still be iron deficient? Even worse, what if the foods you eat every single day, the ones you think are helping your health, are actually blocking your body from absorbing iron? Because here's the truth most people don't realize. Iron deficiency isn't always about how much iron you eat. It's about how much your body actually absorbs. And today, I'm going to show you the hidden foods, the everyday habits, and the small mistakes that could be quietly draining your energy, lowering your iron levels, and leaving you feeling tired, foggy, and run down. And if you want simple, practical ways to boost your energy, sharpen your focus, and optimize your health naturally, make sure you hit subscribe, because that's exactly what we do here. Let's break this down simply. Iron is essential for your body. It helps carry oxygen in your blood, supports your brain, and keeps your energy levels stable. When your iron is low, everything feels harder. You feel tired, you struggle to focus, you get short of breath, and even simple tasks feel exhausting. But here's where most people go wrong. They focus only on eating more iron. Spinach, red meat, supplements. But they completely ignore something just as important: iron absorption. Because your body is actually quite bad at absorbing iron, especially the kind found in plant foods. And certain foods can reduce iron absorption by up to 50 to 90%. Yes, you heard that right. Up to 90%. So let's go through the biggest offenders, the foods you should avoid around iron-rich meals if you want to actually absorb the iron you're eating. Let's start with one of the biggest and most overlooked culprits: tea and coffee. Now, this might be a tough one, because a lot of people drink tea or coffee with meals. But here's the problem. Both tea and coffee contain compounds called tannins. Tannins bind to iron in your digestive system and make it much harder for your body to absorb it. Even worse, drinking tea or coffee with a meal can reduce iron absorption by up to 60 to 90%. That means if you're having a healthy iron-rich meal, maybe some spinach, eggs, or meat, and you wash it down with tea or coffee, you could be blocking most of that iron from ever being used. And it doesn't take much. Even 1 cup is enough to significantly reduce absorption. What to do instead? You don't need to quit tea or coffee completely. Just time it properly. Try to avoid tea or coffee 1 to 2 hours before and after meals. Drink them between meals instead. This one simple change can make a massive difference. Next up, dairy. Milk, cheese, yogurt, all healthy, right? Yes, but not when it comes to iron absorption. Dairy is high in calcium. And calcium competes with iron for absorption in your gut. Think of it like 2 people trying to go through the same narrow doorway at the same time. Only one gets through efficiently. And often, calcium wins. So if you're eating iron-rich foods or taking iron supplements, and you pair that with milk or cheese, you're reducing how much iron your body can absorb. Common mistake: people taking iron supplements with milk. This is one of the worst combinations. It can significantly reduce the effectiveness of the supplement. What to do instead? Avoid dairy during iron-rich meals. Separate calcium and iron by at least 2 hours. Take iron supplements with water or vitamin C drinks instead. Now this one surprises a lot of people. Whole grains and legumes. Foods like brown rice, oats, lentils, beans, these are often seen as super healthy. And they are. But they also contain something called phytates. Phytates bind to iron and block absorption. This is especially important if you rely heavily on plant-based foods for iron. Because plant iron also known as non-heme iron, is already harder to absorb. And phytates make it even worse. But here's the nuance. You don't need to avoid these foods completely. You just need to prepare and combine them properly. What helps? Soaking, sprouting, or fermenting grains and legumes, pairing them with vitamin C-rich foods, avoiding combining them with other inhibitors like tea or dairy. Now let's talk about one of the biggest health myths: spinach as a great source of iron. Technically, yes, spinach contains iron. But here's the catch. It also contains high levels of oxalates. Oxalates bind to iron and make it very difficult for your body to absorb it. So while spinach looks good on paper, in reality, your body absorbs very little of the iron from it. What this means, if you're relying on spinach alone to boost your iron, you may not be getting the benefits you think you are. Better approach: combine spinach with vitamin C, like lemon juice. Don't rely on it as your main iron source. Include more bioavailable sources like meat or fish if possible. Eggs are another surprising one. They contain a protein called phosphatin. Phosphatin can bind to iron and reduce absorption. So while eggs are incredibly nutritious, they are not ideal to eat alongside iron-rich meals if your goal is to increase iron levels. What to do? You don't need to cut out eggs. Just be mindful of timing. Avoid pairing eggs with iron supplements, iron-focused meals. Now let's zoom out a bit. Processed foods and high sugar intake don't directly block iron like tannins or calcium. But they create a different problem. They increase inflammation, disrupt gut health, affect nutrient absorption overall, and your gut health plays a huge role in how well you absorb iron. So even if your diet looks okay on the surface, a high intake of processed foods can quietly reduce your ability to absorb nutrients. What to focus on instead? Whole, minimally processed foods, gut-supporting foods, balanced meals. Avoid. Let's quickly cover what actually helps, because this is where the real results come from. 1. Add vitamin C. Vitamin C is one of the most powerful enhancers of iron absorption. It can significantly increase how much iron your body absorbs, especially from plant foods. Examples: citrus fruits, bell peppers, strawberries, kiwi. Even adding a squeeze of lemon to a meal can help. 2. Choose better iron sources. There are two types of iron: heme iron from animal foods, easily absorbed. Non-heme iron from plants, harder to absorb. If you're struggling with iron levels, including more heme iron sources can make a big difference. 3. Time your meals strategically. This is the big one. Instead of trying to eliminate foods, just separate them. For example, iron-rich meal: no tea, coffee, or dairy. Tea or coffee between meals. Dairy later in the day. 4. Support your gut. A healthy gut equals better absorption. Focus on reducing inflammation, supporting digestion, eating a balanced diet. So here's the takeaway. If you're feeling constantly tired, low energy, struggling with focus, or dealing with iron deficiency, it might not be about eating more iron. It might be about what's blocking it. The tea with your meals, the milk in your coffee, the food combinations you've never questioned. These small things add up. And the good news: they are easy to fix. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more simple, practical ways to boost your energy and optimize your health. Because sometimes, it's not about doing more. It's about removing what's getting in the way.